With my experience and your ambitions, let's navigate the world of business, making informed choices and capitalizing on every opportunity. Welcome to Profit or Pitfall. This is episode 7, and this will be the 4th episode on commercial real estate due diligence. So far, we've covered financial analysis for value-add industrial purchases, writing a letter of interest to purchase or lease a commercial piece of real estate. And then the last episode was understanding a preliminary title report. And as you continue to look at a property that you think you want to buy, you know the property has a story. And how do you uncover the hidden chapters and kind of potential plot twists before they become a costly surprise? And that's where the property condition assessment report, sometimes PCA, sometimes called PCRs. Here in my market, we call them PCRs. But if you're not familiar with them, they're akin to, maybe having a physical or a checkup, but it's for property. And whether you're buying or leasing or financing or just assessing, kind of where your property's at, PCA is great to reveal what's beneath the surface. And especially if you don't have a technical background where you maybe didn't start out in construction. I was lucky enough that that's where I started my career. So I have a little bit of an expertise or a comfort level. But if, looking at plumbing pipes and electrical conduit and just those kind of things give you a headache, a PCA is a great way to understand what's going on with the property. So let's embark on the journey of a PCA. And it's uncover its intricate layers. And so the ASTM, which is the E2018, is our guide. That kind of sets the industry gold standard for PCRs. And if you're not familiar with ASTM, they're kind of an international standards organization for materials, products, systems, and services. It's the reason we have technical standards for everything we see, the stuff we hear, we smell and touch. I mean, it's really the reason why a screw is designed the way it is, why you have a USB port. I mean, all those things in terms of how things become universal, you can thank the ASTM. And so there are 4 major components. There's document review and interviews. There's the actual walkthrough survey. There could be an opinion of cost and the property condition report itself. So it ensures you cover all the bases. And it begins with a deep dive into documents and interviews, forming kind of a holistic understanding before the walkthrough. Really kind of understand, okay, what is this building? Pulling permits, understand, okay, what was done, what wasn't done, so that way you kind of walk into that building with open eyes. You can look at the occupancy certificates, fire code compliance. Every piece of paper has a tale to tell. My mom would say when she was alive, papelito habla, right? So those papers really help tell a story. And then there's the walkthrough survey, which is where the action kind of really heats up. And then you have 10 crucial areas from roofing to life safety that come under scrutiny. And I'll actually, if you'll look here, I'll show you a sample report that I've put together for your review here. So you'll see here, there's the interior, electrical, heating, air conditioning, ventilation, plumbing, roofing, interior, insulation, the structure itself, the exterior, a bunch of appendices, and we'll go through the details, but there's a lot to be covered in terms of understanding that this is a very comprehensive report, and even though some aspects will remain outside the baseline survey scope, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but these are some very key areas that you'll want to understand what's going on with the building. There are areas of concern that may make you decide, what, I don't think I want to buy this building. Or, wow, this is the kind of building I really want because there's a lot to be done here and I know how to do it. You've got a good crew. You've got a good general contractor who has a great set of subs who can help you bring the property to where you want it to be in terms of excellence. And so we can always enhance our diligence addressing those out of scope areas like I mentioned. So if you need a seismic consideration, I live in California. That's a very real thing here. If you're worried about infestations, you can do a deep dive there as well. And so with those observations in hand, it's time for what are called cost opinions. And you look at kind of what are the immediate remedies. Are these just some maintenance things, some things that need to be tightened up? Or are there some short-term actions that really need to be addressed now because people's lives are on the line. If a life safety issue is coming up, there's broken pipes, there's dangerous things that are going on in the property. Those are things you can address now before you take ownership. And I would say that an experienced eye can offer rough cost estimates or even detailed breakdowns. And that's so important in this business, is those relationships. So if you don't know anybody in construction or a general contractor or an inspector, take time to build those relationships. If you're not involved in a networking organization, maybe at your alma mater or with the school in the area that they're pushing out those types of students, make those relationships, because you only know what you know, and there are experts that you can surround yourself with to make sure you understand what you're walking into when you buy property. And all that culminates into the grand finale, which is the property condition report, or the PCR. And this is the detailed narrative of the property's health. You'll see photos to deficiency remedies. A PCA is only as good as the hands conducting it. And you want to look for consultants with that experience, that professional training, and the regional expertise. Somebody who knows the San Diego market might stumble in Columbus, Ohio, unless they're acquainted with the local building nuances. And that's really important. If you don't know what's going on with the local code, you're gonna miss things if you don't know that market. So it's worth noting that PCAs are part of a family. So you have your PCA, there are forensic inspection reports, and regardless of what you try to do, for me, the aim is always to be consistent, which is you want unbiased expert opinions, because PCAs, they're just part of your due diligence, but they're crucial pillars of the due diligence, but don't always encapsulate its entirety. So you want to always consider other risk factors. Time is always of the essence in these deals, right? And so a PCA's duration is a dance between property size, accessibility, due diligence level, and you or your client's needs. So what does something like this cost? Well, it's flexible. I think a lot of it has to do with size and location, the expertise that you're looking for, and the desired scope. Those all play a role in determining the investment that you're going to make. I think a good measure is probably somewhere between 5 cents and 20 cents a square foot. 100,000 square foot building, that's a lot of walking, that's a lot of photos, that's a lot of talking to people. So you're going to spend maybe $10,000, $20,000, but it's the best 10, 20 grand you're going to spend to really understand what you're going to get into. And in the world of commercial real estate, knowledge really is power, and prevention is key. And here's a good example. If you look at this report, now this is a sample report for a retail center, and you'll see some things that are pretty maintenance related. Here's something that can be repaired, but here's something like okay, there's conduit for this is the electrical section. Conduit is poorly supported with several broken supports observed. Okay. It's a repair, but is there something else going on there with the roof that you should know about, right? There's some issues here with the switchgear maintenance. It looks like maybe it needs to be serviced. Is that a $500 service call, or is that a $5,000 service call? There's some storage issues that maybe something's blocking a door or something. Those are kind of simple, but maybe there are other things that become of concern as you're going through and understanding what's not working. So here you've got some lamps that are not working. There's a branch circuit that's not working for the light conditions. That could be a safety issue, in a building. There's illegible data, so hopefully when you're walking into a building, you're going to want to use these opportunities to connect with your tenants, let them know that you're serious about taking care of the building. Let them know that, even if the previous owner, the seller, has maybe done a less than stellar job, that you're going to, want them to stay. And these are great opportunities to say, yeah, I'm going to take care of that, or we're going to make sure this gets fixed in the next 6 months or a year. There's your air conditioning. There's damaged and vandalized coils observed on 5 units. So, is that causing an issue where maybe some of the tenants are very unhappy because the rooms are warm in the summertime, or don't get hot enough or warm enough during the wintertime? And so these are great because you really get to understand if you're really willing to do the work. Some of this may be overwhelming, where it's just like, wow, this building is not as in good a shape as I thought it was. And I was looking for a coupon clipper. I didn't want to do a value add play. This may tell you, maybe this is a little bit too much. Maybe you go back into the negotiation room and say, you know what, all this stuff I've got to do, I think I may want to do, we should discuss the price, or talk a little bit more about, what concessions you're going to give me, so that by the time we close, these things are going to be taken care of. So property condition, assessments to me are like your flashlight. They dim the corridors of the property history. And whether you're eyeing a profit or avoiding a pitfall, always know your property's tail and your history. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you've missed other episodes on due diligence, check out our playlist. There's the other 4 episodes that we've done so far, and you can make an investment in yourself to make you a better investor for yourself and for your legacy. Thanks for joining me on Profit or Pitfall. See you soon.